The story of humanity is not only about the rise of intelligence, the discovery of fire, or the crafting of tools, it is also the story of survival, protection, and care. Among the earliest challenges faced by our ancestors was one universal truth. Children, the carriers of life into the future, were fragile, defenseless, and highly dependent. To raise them successfully in a harsh and unforgiving prehistoric world, early humans needed to develop strategies to guard them against predators, rival tribes, harsh weather, and hunger. Long before the invention of stone walls, spears with sharpened tips, or the concept of family villages, our early human ancestors relied on instinct, cooperation, and the natural world to protect their young. This chapter unfolds the story of how they did so, painting a picture of daily struggles, fears, and triumphs in a world 1,000,000 years ago. A world of peril. Life 1,000,000 years ago was vastly different from today. Dense forests, open savannas, volcanic landscapes, and icebound regions made up the Earth's surface. Climate was shifting between warm periods and ice ages, shaping the migration patterns of both humans and animals. Danger was everywhere. Saber-toothed cats stalked the grasslands. Giant hyenas, wolves, and wild dogs roamed in packs. Crocodiles lurked near rivers. Even enormous birds like the Argentavis and later terror birds posed threats to children who strayed too far. For an early human child, small, slow, and without defensive tools, the world was a place of constant vulnerability. Their cries could attract predators. Their inability to fight or flee made them dependent on their group. This dependence forced early humans to adapt, finding ways to shield their young while balancing the struggle of daily survival. The instinct of protection. Protection of offspring is not unique to humans. Many mammals, lions, wolves, elephants, will fight to the death for their young. Early humans inherited this instinct. Mothers, fathers, and extended kin would surround infants with vigilance. But humans also possessed something more: the beginnings of foresight. Unlike animals that only react in the moment, humans could anticipate dangers, plan defenses, and modify behavior to safeguard their children. This foresight made them different from their primate cousins. Chimpanzees, for example, protect their young by carrying them and staying in groups, but early humans added strategies, choosing safe sleeping places, organizing group watches, and even inventing primitive warning signals. Fire, the first guardian. One of the greatest discoveries of early humans was fire. Anthropologists believe controlled fire use dates back nearly 1,000,000 years. To adults, fire meant warmth, cooked food, and light. But for children, fire was more than comfort, it was safety. At night, predators ruled. But flames kept them at bay. A circle of fire around a camp acted as a shield, its light flickering like a warning. Parents would place their children near the center of this fiery boundary, while adults stayed awake in turns, feeding wood into the flames. Beyond protection from animals, fire offered psychological security. For children, who were vulnerable to fear, fire was a constant, its crackling, glowing presence easing the long, dark nights. In this way, it became the first guardian spirit of human offspring. The power of groups. No single parent could defend a child alone against the might of a lion or pack of wolves. The survival of young humans depended on cooperation. Early humans lived in small bands, often 20 to 40 individuals, where childcare became a shared duty. Grandmothers, aunts, and older siblings all played roles in guarding infants while parents hunted. This cooperative breeding system is believed by many anthropologists to be a major reason humans thrived compared to other primates. Children were rarely left alone. At night they slept huddled within the group, shielded by layers of adults. During the day, those too young to walk were carried on their mothers' hips or backs, wrapped with strips of animal hide. If danger appeared, perhaps the shadow of a predator, adults quickly formed a wall, weapons in hand, with children pushed to the center. This instinctive formation echoes today in the way we see parents rush to shield their children in danger. It was a primal choreography born of necessity, repeated thousands of times across generations. Primitive weapons and defenses. Though tools were crude, they were life-saving. Sharp stones, wooden clubs, and eventually spears became extensions of human hands. While these weapons were primarily for hunting, they also played a role in defending children. Imagine a group of early humans resting near a river. Children splash in the shallows while mothers gather roots. Suddenly, a crocodile lunges. The adults do not rely only on instinct. They wield sharp sticks, beat the water, throw rocks, and shout to drive it away. The children, trained to stay close and quiet at the sign of danger, cling to their guardians until the threat is gone. Over time, the teaching of such behaviors became part of early culture. Even toddlers learned when to stay silent, when to run to the group, and when to freeze. These survival lessons became the earliest education humans received. The role of caves and shelters. Before huts and permanent villages, caves were humanity's safest cradles. A cave, with its single entrance, gave early humans a natural fortress. Fires could be lit at the mouth, and guards could watch through the night. For children, caves provided warmth and safety from storms and predators. Mothers gave birth in the shadowed corners, surrounded by supportive women. Infants grew up learning the feel of stone walls as their first boundaries. When caves were not available, humans built temporary shelters from branches, leaves, and animal skins. They placed these shelters in elevated spots, hilltops or cliffs, where children could be kept in sight and where approaching danger could be seen in advance. Communication. The earliest warning system. Protecting young ones demanded more than strength. It required communication. Before the invention of language, humans used gestures, cries, and rhythmic sounds as signals. A sharp whistle might mean danger. A repeated hand motion might instruct children to crouch low or hide. Over generations, these signals became standardized, forming the basis of group defense. Children learned them early, often through play, just as today's children play games that mimic adult roles. The power of communication cannot be overstated. It turned a scattered group into a coordinated defense unit. It ensured that children could respond quickly to threats even before they fully understood the world around them. Mothers, the first warriors. Anthropological studies suggest that mothers, above all, were the fiercest defenders of children. Carrying infants day and night, they developed both physical endurance and emotional resilience. The bond between mother and child was reinforced by constant contact, skin to skin, heartbeat to heartbeat. When danger struck, a mother's instinct was not flight but defense. She screamed, brandished sticks, or even fought with bare hands. Such acts of courage are echoed today in countless stories of mothers risking everything for their children. But mothers were not alone. Fathers played their part by hunting, providing food, and standing guard. Unlike some other primates, human fathers often invested directly in their offspring's survival, a unique feature that strengthened the chances of children reaching adulthood. Lessons from nature. Early humans did not invent all their strategies alone. They observed nature. From elephants, they learned the power of surrounding young within a protective circle. From birds, they noticed how vigilance and alarm calls could protect nests. From wolves, they saw the strength of coordinated defense. By blending instinct with observation, humans refined their methods. Over time, these protective behaviors became traditions, passed down through generations. Childhood in the wild. Despite constant danger, children were not kept entirely sheltered. They played, explored, and mimicked adults. Play itself became a form of preparation. Wrestling taught strength. Hide-and-seek sharpened awareness. Stone throwing improved aim. Yet always, the boundary of safety was clear. Stray too far, and the voice of a mother or elder would call them back. These invisible boundaries, reinforced daily, were as strong as any wall. Rituals of protection. Some anthropologists suggest that early humans developed spiritual or ritual practices to protect their young. Charcoal marks on cave walls, bones arranged in circles, or charms made from shells may have been early forms of symbolic guardianship. Parents may have believed that spirits of ancestors or the elements could shield their children from harm. Whether effective or not, these beliefs gave comfort and fostered unity, qualities just as essential as spears and fire. A legacy that endures. Though the world has changed dramatically since those days, echoes of early human child protection still remain. Parents today still keep children close in crowds, build walls around homes, and teach survival lessons in different forms. Fire, once a shield against predators, still glows in our hearths and candles. Group care of children remains in schools, playgrounds, and extended families. The instincts carved into us a million years ago have not disappeared, they have simply adapted. Protection of the young remains humanity's deepest, most enduring responsibility. Conclusion. The first humans lived in a world where danger lurked in every shadow. Their children were fragile sparks of life in a storm of predators and hardships. Yet through fire, cooperation, weapons, shelters, communication, and unyielding parental devotion, they created a system of protection that allowed those sparks to grow into the flame of civilization. The survival of humanity was not secured by the strongest hunters alone, but by the mothers who clutched their babies, the fathers who stood guard through cold nights, the groups who formed protective walls, and the children themselves, who learned quickly the lessons of survival. Life a million years ago was a daily struggle, but through that struggle emerged the greatest truth of our species, that to defend the young is to defend the future. And because our ancestors succeeded, we are here today, still carrying their courage in our blood.